In today's video, I'm going to be having a quick look at TransferWise. From there, we're going to look at the RBNZ and what comments have been said today. And we're going to look at Bill Evans, economist from Westpac. Hello, and welcome to another acysecurities market review. My name is Alistair Schultz, and I'm going to be a host through today's trading journey. The first thing on the table today is TransferWise. They have doubled their annual revenue. And in doing so, they've turned profit levels to about £20.4 million. In US dollars, that's 26 million. And that is up from 10.1 million pounds in 2019. They've cited that cross-border transactions have surged during the coronavirus period and throughout 2020, helping them reach that sort of target. Now, looking at another aspect that we're looking in the big world of mergers and acquisitions, Microsoft is buying Bethesda for a whopping $7.5 billion. Now, for those of you who don't know, Bethesda is a gaming and software company. They've produced a number of record-making titles, such as the Fallout series and Elder Scrolls series of games. Now, to put this into a little bit of perspective, Disney purchased the whole Star Wars element for less than $2.5 billion. So, is this an overvalued purchase or is it on point? Well, it's kind of hard to say. When you purchase on the Disney side of things to get Star Wars, they're really purchasing content and rights. In this instance, they're actually purchasing a number of other studios that are responsible for the manufacture of an entirely different genre of things, including a lot of different gaming entities. Now, moving on from the Bethesda side, the RBNZ, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, they have talked about the idea of potentially launching some new stimulus tools before the end of 2020 and before they decide to adopt negative interest rates. They're talking about a funding lending program for banks before the end of 2020 is stipulated on there. I've even got it written up here again for you to have a look at. They've been quoted as to saying that. So we have to expect that sometime in either November or October that we will actually see this lending program go into action. Now, otherwise, during their monetary policy statements and announcements, the overnight cash rate was officially left unchanged at 0.25%, and bond purchase remained steady at 100 billion New Zealand dollars. So there hasn't been much change on that front. We have heard a number of times about this negative interest rate idea. We just didn't know when it was going to be. Now we have a little bit more of a target and understanding of when it's coming. We can see that we're going to get this new stimulus program, and then after that, if needed, they will move to negative rates. Moving on from that, yesterday was battery day for Tesla, and there wasn't as much innovation on the batteries themselves as we'd all hoped, and we did see the share price actually drop. Now, what we did see were vertical improvements. That means that we've seen improvements in the supply chains, in the manufacturing processes, and everything within the internal houses of Tesla. That was the main points that were got driven across. Elon Musk also announced for a $25,000 car to be manufactured and in production by roughly 2023. But of course, we all know that when we hear about a timeline from Tesla or Elon Musk, that generally we have to add a little couple of years to it, as we've seen with the previous car challenges and production problems that they ran into. Now, those plans to produce this car, they're talking about making perhaps 10 million cars a year. That is massive. To put that in perspective, Toyota makes 9.5 million cars a year and is regarded as the largest manufacturer on this side other than Tesla. So outside of that, we've seen the shares fall 7.7%, and that's a bit of a bad day for Tesla, but how can we say anything otherwise? The investor gets a pick at the dollar value. Now, moving forward, the big thing that we've heard today for Australia has been out of Westpac economist Bill Evans. Bill Evans is highly regarded and well known as an economist who happens to pick what the central bank is generally doing here in Australia. So he is seeing that the Reserve Bank of Australia is likely to cut rates down to 0.1% at the next meeting. At his comments alone, yields on 3-year bonds fell. We've also seen the Australian dollar slip, and from on those comments, that's further given us a little bit of speculation to consider if it's going to be the next meeting. But he does join a host of other analysts, including myself, who believe that the forecasting for a 0.1% drop in the rate is likely accurate. In my belief, I think we're going to see more than just that happening, because if we actually look at what the banks are lending their money for, it's already at 0.9. So Getting it down to that next level is going to be a little bit of a hard ask, and they're likely going to have to look at a few other metrics to really consider in the process of it. That might include looking at maybe targeting the yields with a lower rate there and putting a cap on where it goes. Now, moving forward, news ahead of today to look out for. For the euro, we have a number of different things. We have French flash PMIs for both manufacturing and services, the same for Germany, and then that same manufacturing and services PMI is going to be coming out of the US as well. So keep an eye on those. The big one I think for tonight is really going to be coming from Fed Chair Powell as he testifies towards his impact on the coronavirus and the Fed's impact on the coronavirus. So outside of that, we then at the final end of the stage of the stick of the US session, we have US crude inventories and the current weekly figures being announced. Now, if there's anything from today's video you would like to get in contact with me about, or perhaps one of my other ones, feel free to shoot me an email at talktoal@acy.com. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video so you can get more great content from me and ACY Securities in the future. Have a great trading day ahead.